This is a new story of the futurism canon of this channel, so the person that we have today is a gamer who loves to take the shape of a Reddit mod meme person, antisocial, and usually stays in his space habitat on Luna. He plays a game though that is a civilization called Kingdom Merger. Fred, oh hello, this is the best game I've done. It's complete time to do a different game. I haven't done this particular game in about a week. Kingdom Merger. Narrator: Kingdom Murder starts with 10,000 people in a city where you are the king. You have only a basic castle that serves little to defense with only 1,000 soldiers guarding the city, and about a dozen guarding you. The castle, in order to gain more people and land, you have to war diplomacy, alliance, or finance. Currently he's in the tutorial state, easier, because it keeps high-level players from being able to touch him until he decides to join a multi-server. Fred. Okay, this chair feels right. Great, the fact that you can get a vibrator mode on this chair is so great. Imperial Servant, oh my lord, I think you must go to your armies. There is alert that armed individuals have entered into our territory. You must greet done with all of your power. Fred, armed individuals. Imperial Servant, barbarians? Narrator: barbarians are usually not dangerous? Brett, though with the fact that they came immediately in the tutorial mode is a not lucky encounter. They usually come early, but not this early. Barbarians are usually easy to wipe out. But there is a potential threat with the fact they came this early again. It's very out of character. Sometimes it does happen when immediately after a game of force of barbarians comes. Luckily for the main character, the barbarians are only number in 100. If they came with their usual force, which is 1,000, the kingdom would absolutely be destroyed, burned to the ground. Barbarians are usually a very easy threat to deal with, as they are usually very corrupt and they don't organize in numbers larger than 10,000, and usually you can eliminate them through state control of crime and poverty in rural areas. By bars can be very powerful. Fred gathered the armies must go forward to the fight. Imperial Servant: yes my king. Fred, these are the barbarians. Imperial Servant: yes my lord, we are on the field now. But you can see the force of barbarians are smaller than they usually come. They will not be easy fight. Many of us will possibly die, but it will be for the glory of our state. Fred, do not worry about these barbarians, they don't match a skill general. Barbarian leader: you king, we meet land service. Fred's mind: oh yeah, I forgot these barbarian scum do not speak the language very well. It's kind of tiring when he watched this. Narrator: the barbarians are kind of like a second species humans that turn into a monster as for if they're in poverty, and they were exiled from their territory. That's why imperial nobles don't turn into barbarians. Fred, kill all barbarians. Imperial army: yes king. Narrator: it's a long and hard battle, but do you have only 2 casualties? Things see the strength of our main character, and his magically enhanced super strength, and the skill and tactics of his armies, as he was able to guide that disorganized barbarians in an enclosed area where arrows beams could be rained upon them while protected from their attacks, as some of the lead members of their team slowly whittled down the numbers, including their king. Fred, Imperial Servant, help me get up into my throne. We will carry the head of the leader. Narrator: do you see each cheered as we will talk about the events over the next 8 years? Fred, okay, my imperial expansion plan is to conquer the forest of Northwest STL with the river. These will mostly be land from territory that would be sparsely populated. You are mostly claimed kinda as territories. There's a few lands that have their people on it, and we will conquer them and implant them into our empire. When we get our first wave of expansion, we will have imperial delegation parties to each of the most important cities of the territories that we must court in order to get the rights respected. Narrator: he essentially does several imperial envoys to connect trade relations with free cities all around, a little bit larger than him in size, except for one, which is the relatively nearest kingdom-level civilization that has a population around 10,000 individuals, more to be exact 12,000, still higher than him relatively on the same plane. The other 2 are around 25 and 40,000 in number. As well, all these places are larger or well connected with each other, so they send each king over a mistress, invite them to their kingdom to experience the great wealth and connections that they could form together over the first years of the 8 years. They accidentally fill out that plan better than they even expected. They massively improve their wealth tenfold through imports of trade and peoples. He works great programs of training people in and out. He gives one of the best talented experts teach through with his own personal craft. Basically, he sold technology, art, and services. Fred, my imperial conference are now full. The wall is expected to be fully raised by the 15th year of our creation, and our imperial city has grown to 30,000. Imperial Servant, that's great my lord, we just have to particularly say what will be done about these people over here. These are isolated group called Murmurs. They live in an isolated part of the north section of the forest. Fred, what's wrong? We already faced 1 case of resistance. There's only like a few hundred people around there. It's very densely populated. Imperial Servant, yes, we just want to know how we should proceed, because the usual way we deal with groups that don't accept joining into the Imperial Empire is not worth the cost. Fred, then give them example: burn the forest down. and blast all of them in the ground, salt the earth too. We are going to show that we aren't messed with. Narrator, they were completely eliminated in the second phase of the 8 years. They expand to the more rocky hillside of the other southern region of the lake, southwestern of the lake. The first established imperial footholds through the wall, and redirect the lake's water so they can use it for sewage purposes, and to make infrastructure better, to cross the lake, capture a few small villages and non-kingdom towns, tech span to the other side of the river, but still towards the direction of the mountain. Fred, okay, make this quick. Imperial servant, I got to do the meeting of the populace. There's around 2,000 people that we're going to speak in front of the entire kingdom, and we must tell them about our great achievements. Imperial servant, of course I am new. I'm just very bad at these reporting. But our bridge is complete. Our wall is going to take a year longer than we expected. We face no resistance at the other side of the river, and showing off how, through our timber and increase in meat production, we have gained an incredible amount of profit. Oh yeah, there's also news about our telegraph system. We have completed our telegraph system for most of our lines, and by the end of this year, this winter, our telegraph system will be complete through all 16 lines. Fred, great, okay, let me get to the speech. Imperial servant. Imperial crowd cheering? Fred speaking loudly. Our power has increased among these city-states. We have gotten new lands. We have expanded across the river, and we have went miles for in claiming new lands. We have been founded only a few years prior, and we already made such daring success. I don't want to spoil ourselves, but we have won. This may not be a complete war, but we have won. There's nothing else the empire could be defeated with. Within the next decade, every house will have a telegraph network, music being able to be played at home. Imperial crowds cheering? Narrator, the final part of the first 8 years have been completed. They have expanded territory to the mountains, have developed early forms of good powder to create explosive, and eventually guns. Oh yeah. This is the author. This is the epilogue. Ever since the creation of those SCP fan stories, I have found the idea of epilogue very interesting and unique. I just absolutely adore the idea of having extra speech out of context. I'm creating this late at night, so I might be a little bit tired. If you watch my previous stuff, you know the rules of how I structured my stories. The narrator don't have these parentheses, things that indicate a specific character is talking. And I also have a hard time indicating exactly if they're cheering, laughing, or talking inside their own minds. Those are most of the hard parts of having those segments. After not making those segments too short, as I don't want it to be just the narrator talking, it was essentially be not fully within the expectation. The story is likely to have about, I'm not really sure, but let me try to think. Or 1 is the first 8 years and the into the story, so we're between part 2, or 3 is going to be parts where he has conquered a considerable amount of the continent. Part 5, or 6 should be the time conquers the entire continent, and it might be the end around part 8 to 10, so somewhere between part 8 to 10 I'll be uploading the YouTube video first thing in the morning. Actually, you have a 9 to 10 a.m. release date. I'll be putting it on schedule.
Hey, you wanna see something cool?